Welcome to the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hello, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. So today we're going to cover the Platinum Jubilee recap. We're going to get into some other royal tea and we're going to talk about Lilibet. We're going to dive a little bit deeper. So sit back and relax, get yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So first things first, I apologize if my voice and I start coughing. I'm still having a very bad sore throat even after 3 weeks. And I know a lot of y'all don't like those small videos that I do, but I have to do them, guys, to get the royal tea to you, especially when I'm really busy. Sometimes it's just easier to push out the 1 to 3 minute videos, but today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the old school, longer videos that you guys enjoy. Now, I have to be honest with y'all, I am having major Platinum Jubilee withdrawals. I didn't want it to end. Like, I'm still going to use the stickers, the emojis. Oh, you guys, it was so awesome to be swept up. Platinum Jubilee fever. It really was, even from Texas. Of course, I didn't get to see everything that happened, and being there in person, I'm sure, is 1,000 times better. But you guys, I did not expect to become emotional the way that I did. I became so emotional. Like I said, I feel like we've been talking about it forever. And when it was coming upon us, I was like, oh, the Platinum Jubilee, whatever. But when I started to actually get into it and they were playing God Save the Queen and I saw her come out and do her little wave, I got emotional on the Trooping of the Color. I had never seen it before. It was so beautiful. Everything was just so over the top and spectacular. And then when they did the Paddington commercial, I lost it. And ever since then, y'all, I have been bawling my eyes out because the symbolism and the reality that we are witnessing the end of an era. Her Majesty the Queen has been the Queen for 70 years. She is iconic. She is the longest ruling monarch in UK history and the second in the world. And when she unfortunately passes away, the next 3 heirs to the British throne will be men. We will not have a queen in the UK monarchy for at least 100 years. That is a really long time. And the fact that she has been queen for 70 years, it's just mind-blowing the impact this woman has had on so many people worldwide. And I was bawling like a baby the entire time. And at the very end, I'm getting all emotional. When she came out in her green suit for her final balcony, you could see the emotion in her face. Like she was going to cry. She was overwhelmed with happiness. The amount of people that came out to show their love for her was outstanding. When I saw all the crowds on TV, I was just so happy for her and so happy for the UK and the Commonwealth to celebrate such a historic moment. God save the Queen. Thank you for your service, Your Majesty. And I think we're all witnessing history here and an end of an era. And honestly, I've just been so emotional about it. I don't want to talk about it because I keep crying. But I will say another thing that I totally noticed during this Platinum Jubilee was the rise of the young royals, the next generation of royals. You know, William and Catherine, y'all are great. But honestly, I'm excited for Charlotte and Prince Louis and Prince George. I think they are adorable. I'm ready for the next generation of the young royals. I want to see Zara Tyndall's children as well. So many beautiful young royals are coming up of age soon, and they look like they are going to be a fun group to follow. First of all, Prince George to me looks like a little adult. He looks like a little man. He is the carbon copy of his father, Prince William. He tends to be a little serious. I think because he knows he's going to be king, but he's adorable. Princess Charlotte is beautiful. My gosh, talk about winning the lottery of looks. She gives me Queen Elizabeth / Princess Anne vibes. She's going to be the next Princess Royal, and she's going to be spunky like her great aunt Anne, in my opinion. She is going to rule the roost. Now, Prince Louis, he is going to be the royal rock star, the heartthrob. He's going to be the people's favorite. He's going to be the wild child. Oh my gosh, is he not adorable? Now, he is a little rambunctious. He's a 4-year-old. He's a boy. He did act appropriate most of the time, but again, that's very long. There's a lot of stimulation, and little boys, they just get very animated. And a lot of people were like, well, why don't they bring him to events? And I'm like, well, there you go. He's 4. He's not really ready for those type of events. I suspect in the next 2 years or so, we're going to start seeing all 3 of the Cambridge children going to more events. Then we have Lady Louise and her brother. Again, I'm just so excited for these young royals. I think they're going to be the next generation of fun that's coming around. But my favorite so far is definitely Prince Louis. We've talked about the sulking Sussexes and how they really were not seen that much during this Platinum Jubilee. There was all this hype about them coming out there. And then when they came out there, they were seen barely at the trooping of the color, rolling around in the royal curtains, playing peekaboo, peekaboo. We're not here, here we are. We're not here, here we are. And then, of course, Meghan rolling down the car window just to be seen leaving the event. Again, so worried about security. And then, of course, the main event of them showing up at St. Paul's Cathedral, where you could hear a pin drop. And when they walked in that room and they got booed, it was like reality had sunk in. I think for the very first time, they realized that they're not important and that the royal family has moved on quite well without them. Because remember, on the Oprah Winfrey interview, they sat on that couch with that attitude of, Meghan's a star and the family's not utilizing her. So when they decided to do Megxit, they pretty much, blindsided the royal family. They had a list of demands, and they really thought that they were going to tell them how it was going to go. We're going to be half in and out. We're going to pick and choose. And when you're ready, we might grace you with our presence and represent the crown how we see fit. And the royal family said no. And Harry and Meghan were shocked. So when they came back to this event, they really thought they were going to be, welcome back into the fold. The people were just going to cheer and love them, and the royal family was going to roll out the red carpet for them, and they were just going to parade around and be seen on TV with the Netflix crew and the audience and getting all this really awesome footage. But the joke was on them. The royal family ignored them. They kept themselves completely separate. None of the main royals were seen with them at all. They were at completely different events on purpose. Well, first of all, the real royals, the working senior royals, had stuff to do. This was not the weekend for a family reunion or a birthday party or a christening for Lily. This was serious business for Her Majesty the Queen. They all had stuff that was in their diaries pre-planned. They were all going to Cardiff and visiting other places. They were extremely busy. So the fact they kind of kept the Sussexes away from the main royals, I think, was brilliant. And again, you could tell by their facial expressions of the Sussexes when they were at St. Paul's Cathedral, they weren't happy. Harry was sulking big time because I think he realized that we're not essential, we're not important, and quite frankly, I don't even know why they were there. The Queen didn't go to the service. They didn't get to go to the balcony. They didn't attend the concert. They didn't go to the luncheon. We don't know if the Queen went to the birthday party for Lilibet. She probably had a brief meeting with her. There definitely was not a christening. So what was really the point of them being there, because even though they were there to honor Her Majesty, they really weren't seen with her or any other royals. So it was kind of like, should he have stayed home and played polo? Or maybe she could have just, I don't know, drove the 3 hours and saw her daddy, who was lying in a hospital bed sick, from a stroke. Could that have been a better use of their time instead of rolling around the royal curtains trying to get a shot for Netflix? I mean, seriously. So there's a lot of people talking about how the children were not seen when they flew in and when they exited London. Now, I don't know if that is 100% true. I have not seen any photographs of them leaving. They're on a private jet with the children. However, bystanders were saying that yes, children's like car seats and stuff were being loaded into the airplane. So today, Monday, they released the very first photograph, the official photograph of Lilibet Diana. And I have to say, she is adorable. She is precious. Now, of course, a lot of people are immediately saying, well, she looks too old to be 1 year old. She has too many teeth. She's been photoshopped. Her arm is too long. This photo was not taken at Frogmore Cottage. That's not their child. I personally can see some resemblance of Meghan in her face when she was a baby. So here is this photograph. You can kind of see a little bit of the face structure and a little bit of Harry. The weird thing about DNA is a lot of times you can have a child that doesn't look like the parents at all. They can look like a grandfather, an aunt, a mixture of the two. Genetics and DNA are very weird. You can have 3 children, like in my family, my siblings and I, we don't look alike at all. But if you were to sit there and analyze a photo of my mom, you'd see, okay, I have her forehead, I have my dad's eyes, my grandma's nose. Like, there's so many different things that can go up into making someone's appearance. Not everyone is going to look exactly like their siblings or exactly like their parents. If you look at the Cambridge children, they look alike, but then they don't look alike. But again, Charlotte looks a lot like her grandmother, right? And a lot of people thought Harry looked like a young Prince Philip. There's a lot of different, resemblances in different generations. I can see a little bit in Lilibet's face around the eyes and nose for Meghan. And of course, the red hair came from Harry. Now, I'm not going to say they're not their kids. I believe the DNA, those are their kids. However, when they were born, how they were born, and who they were born to, I couldn't tell you. There's always been this mystery, this shroud of secrecy, of things that don't add up with these two and their children. This is why people don't trust the Sussexes. One, you tell a lot of telltales, you've been caught in so many lies, and then you constantly have so many mysteries and inconsistencies, and you know that it's kind of feeding into the conspiracies, and yet they do nothing to squash it. They make everything a secret. The secret Sussexes. We can't show pictures of our children. Oh my gosh, but for their safety. It's like you're 6th in line to the throne. Nobody cares about you. Nobody is threatening you, and nobody is coming for your children. You have William riding his bike in the park with Prince George in plain view of the public, where a person was able to literally on their cell phone record them riding a bike. And he is the future king of England. But yet number 6 is so afraid and has to keep everything very private, everything very secret. So they kind of do this to themselves. They cause people to not like or trust them by their actions, by their hypocrisy, by their lies, by their sulking, by their selfishness. In my opinion, Meghan and Harry squandered an amazing opportunity. They really could have been the stars of the royal family. Meghan could have been a beautiful example of a woman of color on one of the world's biggest platforms. As the Duchess of Sussex and as a working royal, she could have done so much for the people of color. People always say to me, Royals don't do anything. Royals are ambassadors for the Commonwealth, for the UK. They have patronages, they have charities, they bring attention, they do a lot of good. So Meghan always talks about what she needed to be heard. She needed her voice. She wanted her freedom. So she gave up her royal duties so she can go to Hollywood and become a Netflix producer and actress and have her political voice. So now you have your freedom, now you have your voice. The problem is nobody wants to hear you. Nobody wants to listen to what you have to say. That podcast is going to fail. She's trying to get Pearl on another network. It's going to tank. Nobody cares. It's 2.5 years since you've left the royal family and you're getting farther and farther down the totem pole and your star is fading. As a matter of fact, the appearance at the Platinum Jubilee solidified to the worldwide stage how unessential you are. It was an embarrassment. Like, honestly, Harry, you should have stayed home and played polo. You could have zoomed in a love you, Granny, congratulations from Monteshitshow. But the fact that you two showed up and were so scaled down, and people were like, well, they made them look like a joke. Y'all made yourself look like a joke. You did this to yourself. I love how people think the royal family did it to them. You did it to yourself. Again, they were so downplayed. I think this is it for them in the UK. Honestly, I don't see Harry and Meghan ever returning to the UK until the Queen's, I'm sorry to say, but her funeral. I don't see them coming back. I really don't. There's no event that they need to come back to the UK for unless, unfortunately, Her Majesty passes away. As far as Charles's coronation, I don't even think he would come for that. Unless they have a Netflix deal they got to film, I don't see them ever stepping foot back in the UK. I think this was the final straw, and I think they realized how unessential and unpopular and unliked, because again, they're always blaming the media. You know, this figment media that's harassing them, that's bullying them. So when they went to the St. Paul's Cathedral and the people of the UK booed them, I think they got the memo. And then when he walked in the church and all of his peers were there and they were giving them the stank eye and they got the cold shoulder, I think reality dawned on them like, oh, we're not wanted here. Okay. We're not popular and we're not essential. I think it's like the light bulb went off when they were leaving the church. You could tell they were like not happy, and that's why they didn't go to the luncheon and they didn't go to any other events. Now, I don't know if they were scheduled to go to the concert, but everyone else was there, so they could have went. So again, to me, it was kind of like, what was the point of that visit? Because you barely did 2 events. Out of a 4-day weekend, you barely did 2 events. We never saw them. Rolling around the curtains and at St. Paul's, and that was it. So I think Netflix now is probably a little nervous, like, oh my God, we got these royal hanger-oners, the royal outcasts, and we got to get a show with them, a reality show. So I'm sorry, but I don't see them coming back, and I would have loved to have been a fly on that private jet on the way back to Monteshitshow. Woo! I bet that was a very tense flight. So now we have the official photograph of Lilibet, and she is adorable. And I'm very grateful that they waited until Monday to release the photograph. And then there's the story of Her Majesty the Queen. Now, a lot of people are saying that the Queen didn't meet Lilibet. And of course, the Sussexes released the statement that yes, she did meet Lilibet. So it's not really confirmed if she did, if she didn't. Of course, according to their spokesperson, she did. So what do you guys think of this story that's circulating? What do you think about the Sussexes? Do you think they will return back to the UK? And do you think that the Queen actually met with Lilibet this weekend? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. And please be sure to check me out on my other social media accounts. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.